Well, good morning. Martin, let me say, when I post a video, I don't read the comments until the next morning. Martin made a comment yesterday about, well, today, should I say, about posting the rifles to people. I can't just post a rifle. It's got to be under an RDF transfer or RFD transfer. So I'm sorry to say that I can't sell any of the guns. The only thing I can sell would be the scope camera. That would be okay for posting. If you did want to buy one of the guns, well then you would have to pay the cost on the transfer fee, and that would defeat the object of buying what I would consider a cheap rifle. Yeah, it's a shame really, because it would help me out in getting a new rifle. I'm not asking a lot of money for these guns, and I thought I'd give the opportunity to the viewers who watch my videos first offer. Yeah, first offer. You know, I completely forgot what I was going to say. Yeah, give the viewers a first offer because you do take time. You subscribe to the channel, and B, you take time in making comments. Whether they're good or bad, it's still taking time making a comment, you know. So I thought I'd just give all you lot the opportunity of buying something really cheap. I know we all want bargains. One particular person's asked me twice how much a PP800 is. Well, I did say £50, and it's still £50. You know, I'm not going to budge from that price. And the scope camera is £35 plus the postage. You know, and I think that's really, really cheap for a gun, you know what I mean, or a camera. Last night I was watching YouTube on reviews of guns, and there's one chap reviewing two guns. One was a BS8. Oh yeah, reading the comments this morning, I see Backyard Dispatcher commented to one of the comments saying because of the aeroplanes he thinks I live near London Airport. Well, he's partly right. I live near Luton Airport, in a small village just outside Luton, and I think Luton Airport is maybe a 15-minute ride or maybe a 20-minute ride from my home. Anyway, coming back to I can't remember. Oh yeah, the review. Yeah, this chap's making a review, and he's zero. You know, the scope weren't zeroed, and he's doing like one shot on each target and then a group shot. And he's got the BSA, I think it was Ultra or Scorpion, something like that, and he's shooting against the what is it, a Reximex Myth. And honestly, he's shooting at 40 meters and the pellets were going all over the place. So he's giving his verdict what these rifles are like, you know, and in my opinion, what he was saying wasn't all that good about both of those rifles. Now we know the BSA is a hammer forged barrel, and they are accurate. And but when you're shooting a rifle with an unzeroed scope and without a scope cam, I don't know why these people don't invest in a scope cam, so it allows the viewers to see what he's seeing and where he's shooting at. And that's the only way I think you can give an honest review. That's the way I would do it. Invest in a cheap scope cam, make your review, and it's an honest one. I mean, we can all put a camera down at the end of where the target is and shoot, but you don't know where he's aiming at, and then he starts slagging off the rifle. You know, to me that's not an honest review. You know, you must have a scope cam so viewers can see what he's shooting at and how he's shooting it. You know, to me it makes perfect sense to, if you're making these YouTube videos and reviewing different rifles, then invest in a scope cam, and that's the only way you can really make a decent video, a true honest video. You know, oh, I'm waffling on now. It just made me a little bit mad, you know what I mean? I do try different rifles, but majority of the time I'm with the scope cam. Okay, my rifles yesterday, when I was shooting the SMK Victory and the PP 800, although I didn't have a scope cam on, I did have the camera down the bottom. But then I was holding freehand. You know, at my age, being nearly 80, you do get the shakes when you're holding a rifle freehand, you know what I mean? Oh, the only targets I've got, coming back to targets, is my 1mm spinner. You've seen that before, and also the Wingnut. Pleased to say, Backyard Dispatchers just joined the club in knocking down the Wingnut and bringing it back up. Yeah, so there's 2 people at the moment I know of in the club of the Wingnut. we're nuts, we're just nutting, you know what I mean? But my measurements on this Wingnut, taking the widest part, is 1 inch. The widest part of the lobes on the Wingnut is 11mm. The base of the Wingnut, this would be the base of the Wingnut. Whoops. Is 12mm. And the stud size, what I'm shooting, is 37mm high. Yeah. And as I say, when you're shooting this is a good challenge to anybody. You know, it's not none of my shooting or what I shoot at is hard. Well, no, it's not hard really. I mean, I'm not a perfect shooter. All it is really is getting your scope zeroed in almost perfectly. But the hardest part on this Wingnut is if the wing is facing there, straight towards you, so you can't see really. I mean, you can see it, but what you need to do when you're shooting this Wingnut is skim the base of it so it turns. Yeah. Now, from the beginning, I did say you can do this in 2 shots, and on Saturday's video, you saw me do this in 2 shots, and that's when well, the day before I slammed my head against the concrete. So I was shooting this with a headache, bad shoulders, aching shoulders, and I've done that in 2 shots. You need to try it. I'm not saying you're going to do it perfectly every time, because I don't. One particular time it took me 7 shots to get it down. Another time it took me 3 shots to get it down and 1 up. You know, every day really is a different sort of challenge on that wingnut, and it all depends how that wing turns and how it faces you. You know, a very, very good challenge. Now with this coin, which is a 10-cent piece, although it's only a mil thick, well, 1.5 mil thick. So although it's only 1.5 mil thick, on your reticle you have got a cross. And really the idea, if your scope is zeroed, you don't have to look at the centre. Well, you do, but you can also look at the vertical line. Is it vertical or horizontal? Vertical, I think. And get that lined up and fire your pellet, and it boom, like that. Also with the 3 mil beads, people think it's a very difficult shot, but it's not. You know, as I say, it's all down to your scope and how it's zeroed. And then we all know pellets will fly differently. You know, if they're not weighed and they're not washed, some of the pellets can be different weights. So they can drop, they can go high, they can go left, they can go right. You know, and it's the point is where that pellet's landing, and you have to take that into consideration when you take the next shot. You know, it's really pot luck, because as I say, if you're taking them straight out of tin, you don't know what weight it is, you don't know if it's a little bit deformed or what, or it's going to be one of these flyers. You know, but as long as you know, if it's shooting to the left, then just come over to the right a bit, and it's really taking that chance, coming over to that right to hit that spinner, you know, or even hitting the bead, you know, say a 2-3 mil bead. There's nothing really difficult in what I'm doing. Yeah, okay, it's more difficult than hitting the tin can. You know, I mean, any even the worst shooter can really hit a tin can. But you know, I do like shooting these small targets, especially through the scope cam. It's for my benefit more than for yours, really. It's because by watching it back, I can see my mistakes, and that's the ideal purpose, really, of the scope cam for me, to see my mistakes so I can correct myself. You know? But if you're doing a review, and I suggest if anybody does a review on rifles, then invest in either a side scope cam, which I've got, or the camera which I'm selling. They're cheap. Well, for a person who works, they would be considered cheap. For a person who, like me, who's on old age pension, you know, they're not. But if I wanted to do an honest review, well, then I would use a scope cam, because that does give you the opportunity to see where I'm aiming at. Yeah. And if the scope is not zeroed, you can see where he's still aiming at, you know, if he's coming over to the left or right, you know. And that's the only way I think you can do an honest review on any rifle. We all know we can cut bits and pieces out of videos and rejoin, but personally I can't be bothered. You know, I take the good with the bad, you know what I mean? And that's what I post. If it's a bad video, then it goes up. If it's a good video, it still goes up. And if it's in between, like good and bad on the day, well, it still goes up, you know what I mean? Yeah. But I'm looking around this workshop and it's in such a mess. Just looking at something I can shoot at today, and there's really nothing apart from the spinner. And oh, as I said, I went round the charity shops and they're asking for an ordinary necklace around about £6-7. You know, the other month, me and the wife went out and we bought something for the home, and it weren't a lot of money. I think it was about £35 to £40, and that was brand new, brown spanking new. When we got it home, it didn't suit our purpose, you know. So instead of me taking it back to the shop, which I've got 30 days to take it back and get my money back, I just couldn't be bothered, you know what I mean? So we took it to a charity shop, and then I think 3 days later we went back to that charity shop, and you know what they marked it up as? £110. £110 I was asking for it. What a take on. And it cost, brand new, it only cost £35, but you know, they're asking £110. And they get it for nothing, you know what I mean? Okay, they got rent and rates to pay and maybe a few staff, but you can't mark up something double the price plus if it only costs £35 new, you know what I mean? That really annoys me, just like a review on YouTube. As I say, if they're not using a scope cam, the review means really nothing. I can shoot different rifles, stick a camera down the bottom and say I'm aiming at a bullseye, but I don't. I'm aiming maybe off the bullseye. Boom, the pellet goes where I'm shooting at. I do it again and do it again, and then I've got the opportunity to slag the rifle off, saying, oh, you can't group with it, you know. That's why you need a scope cam. If you're doing an honest review, you've got to invest in a scope cam. But anyway, I'm babbling on, and this is getting nowhere. So I'm going to leave you there, and I'm going to look round and see what I can shoot at today. If I don't find nothing, well then I'll just post this talk video up, okay? So enjoy yourself and take care, and I'll see you later. Bye.